Coming up on this edition of The American Veteran, see how a partnership between VA and the Department of Defense helped this wounded Marine set a course for recovery. We'll visit a group that's working hard to end homelessness among veterans in Roanoke, Virginia. Meet two veterans who are taking their military experiences to the classroom. And a story about a Gulf War veteran you won't want to miss. Welcome to The American Veteran. I'm Jonathan Kopanger, a Navy veteran. And joining me is our active duty host, MC1 Jen Blake. Welcome, Jen, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, Jonathan. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for yours as well. In December 2004, Marine Corps veteran Jeremiah Workman led a dangerous rescue mission in Iraq. 3 Marines died that day, but Workman survived and was awarded the Navy Cross for conspicuous heroism. But he would later suffer from what some have called survivor's guilt. How Jeremiah Workman was able to overcome that provides a good illustration of the partnership between VA and the Department of Defense.
My father had served in the Army, my grandfather. I kind of knew I was going to serve. I got orders to Camp Pendleton, California, and joined 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines, and deployed to Fallujah with them. I was a squad leader. I had 8 Marines with me and a corpsman. We walked into a house. We were ambushed by 24 to 30 insurgents. We were all wounded, but we lost 3 Marines in the house that day. Physically, I was hit with, 2 or 3 grenades.
Jeremiah was awarded the Navy Cross for his bravery that day. He saved the lives of many Marines.
When I came home, I started having some effects of PTSD, and I knew something just wasn't quite right. My memory, I was always constantly looking for keys and things around the house. I noticed that my speech was kind of stuttered. My hands and fingers were jerking and twitching. As a Marine, you just kind of suck it up and keep going, and you don't think much about it. I was in the shower, rinsing the shampoo out of my hair, and when I put my head back to rinse it out, I just blacked out.
So we're gonna do some tests today to see how your nerves are working, all right? Do you feel me touching everywhere?
They took me to Walter Reed. That's when I did all the TBI workups and found out that there was a TBI. For me, the TBI on top of the PTSD, I wasn't worldwide deployable. My days of kicking down doors and engaging the enemy were over. I remember the last time I wore my dress blues with my medals. I knew that was the last time I was going to wear that uniform, and it was very tough taking it off. But the great thing about the Marine Corps, I think it kind of separates us maybe from some of the other branches, is the camaraderie. Once you're out, you're not a former or an ex-Marine. You're always a Marine.
Although leaving the service was tough for Jeremiah, a new pilot program, the Disability Evaluation System, was beginning. Now called IDES, with the added word integrated, the program ensures that injured service members receive their benefits and compensation in a manner that reflects speed, accuracy, and fairness.
Jeremiah Workman is a classic IDES success story.
I'm Mrs. Susong, your case manager.
Okay, nice to meet you. You too.
Have a seat, please.
IDES allowed him to be taken care of, get his disability payment squared away, get his health care squared away, and then move into the VA system seamlessly.
Hello, Corporal. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Which is great, because here we know a Marine who's clearly one of our heroes is going to be taken care of.
Jeremiah now guides other service members through IDES, which is run by both DoD and VA.
Come on in, Jeremiah Workman. Nice to meet you. What we're going to do first, we're going to fill out the claim itself.
IDES expands the role of compensation and benefits so injured service members know what benefits they will receive before they become veterans. Since VA and DoD now work together, only one medical examination is needed.
I just want to let you know that I spent 9 years in the Marine Corps, and I went through IDES myself. I still had this passion, I still had this fire burning in my belly that I wanted to be around Marines, I wanted to help service members, and I knew that I had navigated these muddy waters before. It is very scary, to try to do it by yourself. So for me, it's a way to still interact with Marines that are going through the same issues that I was. I tell them when they sit down with me, we're reading the same book, I'm just a few chapters ahead of you. For everybody out there, I would let you know that I am, because of folks like you, the doctors, everybody involved with this whole process, know that you are impacting people's lives. I landed on my feet and I'm doing well, and my family's doing well because of folks like you. And it's all about genuine care and concern.
VA is committed to ending veteran homelessness by the end of 2015. To that end, VA gave grants to various charities across the country. These charities provide services and work for veterans to help get them back on their feet. Today, we look at how the Roanoke, Virginia community comes together, providing veterans with a new life.
My name is Pedro Delgado. I'm a veteran for the United States Army. I did 4 years in the service and came out with an honorable discharge.
My name is Wayne Johnston, and I was a specialist E4 in the Army.
2 men, 2 veterans whose decisions and life circumstances left them homeless.
After a while of being out, I got into some problems with the law, and I went to prison. When I came out, I did about 16 applications for housing. Nobody wanted to give me an opportunity.
Not knowing what was coming the next day, going hungry, no roof over your head, out in the cold if it was cold, out in the heat if it was hot.
But these 2 veterans' lives brought them to the streets of Roanoke, Virginia, where the community of nonprofits have partnered together to support veterans like Wayne and Pedro, helping them to find a path for a fresh start.
Thank you for coming to the Roanoke Veterans Coalition meeting.
Once a month, the Roanoke Veterans Coalition, a group of 15 to 20 agencies that service veterans, meet to collaborate, maximize resources, and promote agency-to-agency relationships to make services for veterans more easily accessible.
Our agencies are better able to tell our veterans who can serve them, what the requirements are to receive those services, and who to contact when they go there. So it really cuts down on the time and effort that our veterans are using looking for services. Roanoke Veterans Coalition, this is Alex. How may I help you?
Alex Hash started the coalition 4 years ago as part of his work for Total Action for Progress, or TAP. His agency provides services to needy families to help them become more self-sufficient.
We do a great job of providing supportive services to our veterans to ensure that not only they find a job, that they're able to stabilize themselves in the first few weeks of employment. Okay, they're expecting you there in 15 minutes. Can you make it?
Through a coalition-created help desk and what's called the Playbook, the agencies get veterans the help they need faster.
We can use the playbook to help them determine what's the best agency to serve them. Are there 2 agencies they need to be talking to? And we can walk them through basic eligibility without them being sent from agency to agency. So it eliminates that feel of being shuffled around.
Trust House, a 27-bed residential facility serving veterans, including families and single females, is part of the coalition.
I think that any effort for the community to collaborate together, to combine our resources, to work together as service providers is the only way to do business. I think it provides better service to our clients. It's a more efficient use of our financial resources, and it makes sure that we don't duplicate resources.
Ram House, another partner, offers shelter during the day.
We have a place, a secure, safe place for 120 to 110, 120 people every day to come, veterans and non-veterans, to come and get out the weather, to wash a load of clothes, have a lunch, to go to job fairs. A couple of days ago I had a veteran come in and he said that he's a veteran. I said, what service have you gotten? He said he didn't know we had services. So after I talked to him, interviewed him for a little while, he told me his situation. I knew what agency he needs to go to because of the Veterans Coalition.
Hey, William.
Good to see you, buddy. You doing all right?
TAP is one of the recipients of the VA's federal grants to work with homeless and low-income veterans who are at risk of being homeless.
Roanoke definitely needed the support from this grant. We have worked with veterans and homeless veterans for about 3 years, but on a very limited basis. We were really focusing on job training and getting veterans employment. But a lot of them were really struggling because of living in the shelter, living on the street, and how to get to work. And so this funding has enabled us to get them into safe, secure housing and then work on the employment. So it's really a critical link to being successful with the guys.
And funding, along with sharing resources, is helping veterans like Pedro and Wayne. Pedro's life has been stabilized at a shelter. He has a steady job and is hoping to get his own place to live.
All these agencies came together into cooperation in various areas in my life to be able to put me together to be able to stand where I'm at today. And if it wouldn't have been for them, I wouldn't have been able to do it anyway because I couldn't do it by myself.
Wayne put himself through VA's drug and alcohol rehabilitation program, is working, and now has his own apartment.
Everything fell into place for me. It's starting to be a wonderful life now.
For the men and women who have put on a uniform and offered to put their lives on the line for this country, we must provide programming that ends homelessness for them. It is our national shame that any of those folks are homeless, and we must work diligently in this effort to end it.
Many veterans are beginning new careers as teachers and taking their skills and military experiences to the classroom. Dan and Ralph are two veterans who have served our country and who are now making a difference in the lives of children.
Their time in the service taught them many valuable lessons, but none as important as the ones they teach here.
We'll get them there. We'll get them there.
Dan Leha.
All right, very good. Y'all hear that?
And Ralph Sarmiento found their second careers doing something far removed from their lives in the military, thanks to the Troops for Teachers program.
As soon as I got into Troops for Teachers, I really became involved because I really believe that the veterans, there's an untapped resource out there of teachers.
In this kindergarten classroom in San Antonio, Texas, retired Sergeant Dan Leha wants to teach his students a lot more than the basics. That is, when he can get a word in.
It's not the addition and subtraction. It's not spelling the word correctly. To me, the most important thing that I can teach a child is to be the respectful citizen that's going to be stepping out into the community in the future. You can be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't have those social skills to interact with other people, you're dead in the water. And I really think that the social skills are the most important thing that I can instill into my kids, whether they're the kindergartners or the 5th grade level. Don't pull a shirt.
And for the kindergartners Mr. Leha is teaching this year, he brings more than fun to the classroom.
That he always teaches us great stuff. He wants us to read. When I came first on school, I was excited.
The military provided me the direction that I needed. They provided me the training that I needed and made me very successful. So if, that's your calling, go for it. Follow your heart.
What's this going to come up to?
For Ralph Sarmiento, being a teacher was a dream that started when he was thousands of miles from this classroom.
I actually signed up 2 years ago when I was deployed to Iraq and was interested in a follow-on career.
And for the 6th graders that come into his classroom every day, he wants to teach them that the skills they're learning today can impact their futures.
Being in the military, we used math quite a bit with graphs and statistics. So I try to tell them that, yeah, it's applicable in the long run.
Just show how you would divide the 4 and the 10.
And after 3 tours in Iraq, this is Mr. Sarmiento's first year teaching, but he has already begun to see the benefits.
We just gave them a quiz, and it's encouraging to see some of the students improving, some of the students picking up these concepts, these math concepts.
Around his campus, there are also other vets who have answered the call to teach. Their principal feels these uniquely qualified teachers can offer students a lot more than a classroom education.
Role culture into the classroom, be able to discuss things, be able to talk about other countries that only thing they see is on television or in a magazine or over the internet.
All right, so look.
Nothing can possibly compare to 6th grade math at a middle school. You've got to really just on-the-job train, and you've got to get in there, roll up your sleeves.
Excellent, very good.
These men and women that serve our country do an outstanding job. They've always been leaders on our campus.
John Register, a former college All-American track star and an Army veteran of the Gulf War, returned home from his deployment unscathed, but soon after suffered a devastating sports injury. That's when his will to win took over.
I grew up in Oak Park, Illinois. It's on the west side of Chicago. It's a west suburb. And my first interest in sports came with the sport of swimming. And then I think it was in my junior year of high school that I really began to excel in sports of the long jump and the high hurdles, and led me on to the University of Arkansas, where I became a 3-time All-American in track. So I really started considering the military for 2 reasons. One, my wife and I were just getting married and I had no job. And the second reason was I wanted to continue to run track and field. I thought that I really had a good opportunity to make either the 1992 or 1996 Olympic Games. And the United States Army had a program, the United States Army's World Class Athlete Program. I went to the All-Army Track and Field Camp and actually qualified for the Army's World Class Athlete Program out of that camp. And I fully expected to go and have served my 3 years as a soldier athlete in order to make, or try to make, an Olympic team. But what happened was Saddam Hussein raised his ugly head, and I was diverted to a field artillery unit and wound up spending 7 months in the desert. Our unit really became very close-knit because you have to have your buddy's back in battle, and you have to trust your training. I think that you also find that there are no atheists in foxholes. Folks do a lot of praying when they're in the desert and the bullets start whizzing by. So here I am, this world-class athlete that gets derailed in my dreams and serves in the Operation Shield Desert Storm. I come back literally unscathed, and on May 17th, 1994, I go across a hurdle while I'm training for the World Class Athlete Program again, and my left leg hyperextends, severing the popliteal artery and subsequently ending my Olympic dreams for good. So the decision that I had to come up with, what the doctor gave me, he gave me 2 options. He said, we've cleaned out a lot of your leg, your gastrocnemius muscle and your ankle, and you're going to be left pretty much with a fused foot, and use a walker or a wheelchair to get around with your mobility, or you can take option number 2, which is an amputation. The best option for me really was I wanted to be mobile, and the artificial leg was going to help me be mobile. So the decision was pretty easy for me to make, and it was just time for life to move on. My father and I, we try to take the word accident out of the injury, because was it an accident or was it actually fate that happened? Because when I look back on it now and I see all the things that have transpired in my life, if that didn't happen, these other things may not have happened. My father was right when he said that, you know, this is something that's going to impact a lot of people. So just keep your head up and keep your faith. You will find that there will be a lot of opportunities here, not just only for yourself, but you will have opportunities come for other people that are coming behind you that have these difficult situations. I think I realized I could be an athlete again sometime probably about a year or 2 after the point of injury. I had separated from service, medically retired, and that's when I first heard about the Paralympic Games. all this swimming that I was doing for physical therapy, I was getting faster and faster in the water. And I wound up going to the Paralympic swim trials and actually making the Paralympic team and competed in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm watching closed circuit television from the swim venue. And as I'm watching closed circuit television, I'm watching track and field go off. And I've never seen an amputee above the knee like myself running leg over leg down a long jump runway. And then I said to myself, why am I not out there on the track and field running when I've done this for the better part of my life, where I know what this sport is all about? Why am I in this swimming pool? And that was the beginning of the process for me to have an artificial leg made for running. As an athlete, I was in the Atlanta Games in 1996 and in Sydney, Australia in 2000 and won the silver medal in Sydney. And then in 2004, I was an administrator with the United States Olympic Committee, U.S. Paralympics Division, and went to the Athens Games, went to Torino in 2006, and then went to Beijing, China in 2008 as an administrator. Part of my job is working with the VA and trying to provide support at the Winter Sports Clinic or the National Veteran Summer Games, and really trying to make sure that veterans understand the opportunities that they have. So the injury opened up a lot of doors, and now I'm in a position to where I can actually give back and help other people's dreams and aspirations towards the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games be achieved.
Next time on The American Veteran, we'll show you how veterans are receiving support through the court process. Visit Foxhole Cafe, an eatery staffed by formerly homeless veterans. And from drill instructor to professional fitness trainer, how the GI Bill is helping this veteran achieve her dream. Then how an emergency housing assistance program is providing homeless veterans with shelter.
That concludes this edition of The American Veteran. The Department of Veterans Affairs is honored to bring you this program.
If you would like to get in touch with us or obtain more information about VA benefits and services, call us at 1-800-827-1000 or visit our website, va.gov. And if you're a veteran who's troubled in some way, please call the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255.